Hello, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am continuing my 31 days of horror movie reviews. And here I am, still doing the Friday the 13th series, Part 5, A New Beginning. Yes, this movie came out just, again, 1 year after the last one, 1985. It was directed by Danny Steinman. And the plot is we see Tommy Jarvis, who is now all grown up. It's been several years since the final chapter. You see him, he's at this, I don't want to say group of mentally ill people. They're special. Let's put it that way. They're special. They all have their issues. They all have their problems. They're all together from this hospital, and they're going to this camp. And you could probably figure out what's going to happen. Jason's back! But with a twist! But before we get there, what I think of A New Beginning is, you know, if I had done this review a few years ago, back when I first saw this movie, the very first time I saw it, this would have been a rant. This would have been me ranting and raving and talking about how much this movie just absolutely sucks. But so many years later, watching it just a couple more times over time, I have a little bit more of an appreciation about the movie. I do. I don't hate it anymore. It might not be one of the better of the series. In fact, yeah, it is on the lower tier of Friday the 13th movies, but there are things about it that I can appreciate. There are things about it that I don't appreciate, that I do think is a missed opportunity. Let's talk about the very beginning. Probably the best part of the film is you see Corey Feldman back as young Tommy Jarvis. He's outside in the woods, in the rain, and he goes and sees these two people digging up Jason's grave. And Jason comes alive. He wasn't dead, or he's resurrected. And he kills them, and he starts coming towards Tommy, and it's so awesome because you're like, yes, this is the sequel that I want. I just want Jason back, and he's going after Tommy, literally almost right where the last movie left off, until you find out it's a dream, and you're like, fuck. Now, of course, this isn't the people's fault. It's not their fault. Corey Feldman was so much in demand at the time. He was getting roles left and right. He had a bunch of movies he had to do. So they were lucky to even get him to do this one scene. And they could have recasted him. They could have done so much other stuff, but they didn't do it. I appreciate that they had him here for when they had him. Again, not their fault. So you have to jump ahead, I guess. You have to jump ahead so many years later where we meet this new guy playing Tommy, John Shepard. He's older. He's in this hospital, like I said. You don't see his sister. They mention her, but she's not around. And he's with Pam, who is trying to help him out. She works with these people. She's trying to get him out of this weird rut that he's in. Look, I understand that Tommy went through some shit. He did. You see the end of the last movie, you know that this kid's going to grow up messed up. So I get it. I get that he's weird. I get that he's a little off. But I don't really care for how Tommy acts here. He's very, just overly weird. He's like a mute. He doesn't talk. He just always has these weird, glaring looks, even when characters try to talk to him, like Pam or like this kid Reggie. This young black kid who tries to be nice to him and cool with him and talk to him, and he's just weird. He's weird. And I get it. That's the point. That's the point, because when people do start to die around them, when you find out that there is somebody out there killing people, you have to have some of these other characters thinking that he's the one doing it. He's so far gone, he's so crazy at this point that he's seeing Jason left and right. Like, you don't know what's going on in this character's head. Near the beginning of the movie, we get this character, Joey, who is annoying. I have to admit that. He's going around, he talks too much, he wants to share his candy, and it's annoying. It's annoying. But I feel so bad for him because another character, Vic, who gets so fed up with his talking and his just bothering him that he axes poor Joey in the back and murders him. Just viciously, brutally, bloodily murders him. And it's crazy. You're watching it like for the first time. I was watching this scene like, what the fuck just happened? This random kid just killed some other kid? And it has nothing to do with Jason? Whoa, what? Obviously, you get to the end and it does play into the story a little bit, but still, it's still like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? And some of the other kids in the group, you have a bunch of kids. Some of them are cliched, some of them are ones you've seen before. But there is this one kid who has a stutter. And he likes this girl. He likes her a lot, big crush, and he's trying to get the courage to talk to her, to not stutter and tell her that he likes her. But not only do you give him the scene where he gets completely embarrassed and kind of made fun of, but then he dies. And it's so just fuck. Feels so bad for this kid, but that's what this series likes to do. It likes to present a side character that shouldn't die, has no business of dying, but they kill him. Just because. Miguel Nunez is in this movie. I don't know if you guys remember him. Joanna Man is probably his most famous movie. He's here. He's had too much enchiladas. So he has to run to the toilet, and he dies on the shitter. I kid you not. He dies in the toilet, and it might sound funnier than it is, but it's one of those scenes where it's like, who came up with this? Who thought this was a good idea? Are we going the more comedic route? Are we trying to be more funny? Or are we trying to make this scary? Which one is it? It's a choice. It's definitely a choice, but not something I would have made. You find out that it's not Tommy, and it's not even Jason. You find out that it's this character, Roy Burns, who was a cop, and you find out that his son was the Joey character that was killed. And he's so pissed off and angry about this that he goes on a killing spree. But he uses the MO, he pretends to be Jason because he figures it's an easy cover-up. And that's your movie. And so a part of me understands it. Again, the first time I saw this, I was like, what the fuck? This sucks. It's not even Jason. This is dumb and bullshit. But now I watch it and I do find it a little bit more interesting because it's something different. Hey, they tried to end the series. They tried to definitively kill Jason off and end the series and end it with a good movie, but people wanted more. Or people came and it made so much money. And so at least they tried to keep Jason dead. They didn't want to go back on what they just did, and they tried something different. I understand it. It does make sense. It is somewhat an interesting story. You almost want to know more about these characters and what's going on here. It mirrors the Pamela Voorhees situation from the first movie. Like, it is interesting. But then you get to the very end of the movie where Tommy Jarvis, I guess, is crazy. And he gets the Jason hockey mask. He puts it on. And I guess he's about to kill Pam in the hospital. What the fuck? That's still one of those scenes that I don't like. You're taking... look, I know it was definitely set up in the fourth movie of Tommy's going to grow up to be fucked up and probably a killer. Maybe this would have meant more if this was Tommy and his sister in that story. The sister was trying to save him or help him, and she fails or something. I could see that working in some way, but because I didn't care for the actor, the older actor playing Tommy, it doesn't quite work for me. Again, not terrible. There are some pretty decent deaths in the movie. There is some interesting ideas going on here. I don't hate it anymore, but it's still not the best. So guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. Do you like it more than I do? Is it one of your favorites, or do you think it just flat out sucks? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!